bone tempering, spirit severing, and 4 cycles of reincarnation. The strongest heavenly deity of City No. 10. Is finally ready to use his body as a perfect world. Episode ke-235. Under the Great Elder's guidance, Shihao undergoes bone tempering and spirit refinement. Attaining Tao in the pool of the celestial race, he seeks to create a unique cultivation method of his own. This could upset the balance of heaven and earth. He immediately faced a tribulation that even heavenly deities find hard to bear. After this, he channeled lightning with the Lightning Emperor's precious technique. Using Kunpeng's method to dispel the lightning, he employed various actively drawing the lightning into his body. He could lose his life at any moment. Within his condensed soul, the dual energies of yin and yang circulate. On one hand, Shihao draws in the divine life essence from the pool into his body. On the other, he lets the lightning strike him down to generate death energy, constructing a yin-yang diagram in his abdomen. Here, yin and yang can be reversed, transforming and merging into one another. This is also the wheel C cultivated in later eras. At this moment, it is but the prototype of Shihao's own method. Afterwards, Shihao's aura surged to its peak. He tempered his physical body, using the bone tempering method taught by the Great Elder. Finally, the strength of his bones was greatly enhanced. A single punch was enough to instantly obliterate a heavenly deity. He then went in search of the yellow spring fruit. On his way, he came across a river. It was the yellow spring. The yellow spring fruit was at the end of this river. Along the path he saw the corpses of true immortals. A true immortal's burial ground is bound to hold great treasure, but it is also fraught with peril. Shihao resisted the temptation. At last, Shihao found the yellow spring fruit. As soon as Shihao touched the fruit, the originally peaceful and sacred place was filled with dreadfulness, as if in a dreamscape. He fell from paradise into hell in an instant. The yellow spring worms relentlessly attacked Shihao. They even suppressed his soul grotto haven. Shihao never expected that just for worms would force him to go all out. He activated Kunpeng's method, the Lightning Emperor's precious technique, and the Deluo immortal sword all at once. Only then did he slay the 4 worms. The moment Shihao consumed the yellow spring fruit, he felt it stimulating his spiritual energy. He quickly used the spirit forging method taught by the Great Elder. He clearly felt that his understanding of what he had mastered had become much more profound. His comprehension of the original true solution also grew clearer. Only by truly comprehending the original true solution could he become one of the strongest in the heavenly deity realm since ancient times. The being on the great Tao flower seemed like a version of himself that had vanished for eons. The moment he comprehended the original true solution, it was as if it came to life. The original true solution resonated with the being on the great Tao flower, and he clearly felt himself growing stronger. Shihao then began to re-examine the Lightning Emperor's precious technique and the 6 Tao reincarnation heavenly art. Like a cycle of reincarnation, over and over again. Shihao even had an illusion, as if he were truly being reincarnated. Every supreme, precious technique or heavenly art felt as if he had learned it before, but had forgotten it in past lives. Now, he was starting to cultivate it anew. Suddenly, Shihao entered a bizarre state. As if experiencing reincarnation and rebirth, another version of himself emerged from the void. He groggily fell into a deep slumber. In his dream, he was taken to a strange land. Opening his eyes, he saw that yellow river. There was no life force around him, only decay. At the end of the river was a volcano. Within the volcano, a group of demonic gods roared. It was like the abyss of hell. Suddenly, Shihao was also sucked inside. Inside the volcano, an ancient palace hall emerged from the magma. Within the hall was a chained being, possessing an immortal aura, yet it was being drawn and quartered, and fell into the magma. Suddenly, Shihao was also chained, as if about to face the judgment of hell. Shihao could almost see his own end. But Shihao firmly believed this was the yellow spring fruit tempering his primordial spirit. He held fast to the belief that it was all an illusion. Only by enduring the most painful tempering could he forge an indestructible primordial spirit. He even suspected he had opened a gate to the void. It all felt too real. He was immersed in his consciousness, unable to awaken. After countless ages, when his consciousness had faded, another consciousness awakened. He saw the rusted Lightning Emperor's armor and the Deluo sword embryo. His former friends and family were long gone. He desperately wanted to see how they were. In one life, Shihao lived through an age of Dharma's decline, unable to cultivate. He lived to 160 before reincarnating again with his memories. It wasn't until the world fell into chaos that he broke free from that hell. It turned out to be all along unexpectedly, for marks of reincarnation appeared on his palm, and he had just experienced 4 lives in his dream. Now, having gone through bone tempering and spirit severing, Shihao was already invincible in the heavenly deity realm. He was finally ready to use his body as a seed